Welcome to the Soulful and Nurtured sessions with psychologists Paula and Rachael Fowler. Between us, we bring over 40 years of combined experience. These recordings are simply casual conversations where we share ideas and reflections, and we hope they offer you some insight or reassurance. As always, the information shared here is general in nature and isn't intended to replace personalised therapy. So please grab a cup of tea and enjoy the conversation.
We could talk about somatic therapy and how it came into our worlds, how it's different to how maybe we were trained, and what it means for us working in that way, like why we resonate with it, what we see from.
I think it's a great place to start.
Yeah,
I
me
feel
too.
really excited about talking about that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
'Cause I love it. Do you?
I really love it. And I think it's changed. I know you and I have talked about this before, but I think it's changed how I feel about my work.
Me too.
And it's changed how I feel about coming to work and how or even just like
Mm.
in life for me, when I utilize it for myself,
Oh my
um,
God.
like the outcomes that I get for myself is really inspiring, and then encouraging, knowing that that's something that our clients can also harness and utilize too, right?
Exactly.
Tell me the story about what was it for you that led you into somatic therapy?
Yeah, well, I'm trained in more obviously the CBT
Yeah,
model,
same. Yeah.
and I always felt like something was missing. And we have the mental health practitioner network and locally, and it was quite a number of years ago now. And a guy come in and spoke, and he talked about somatic experiencing. And
Mm.
just what he described, so like bringing the body in and the body's wisdom and how trauma gets held in the body and how there's these incomplete
Yeah.
responses that need to be complete for us to, recover from trauma.
Mm.
And he just explained some examples, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that makes complete sense to me. And then I had another friend, and I didn't go and train straight away, but then I had another friend that shared that he'd done, he was in his 60s or something and very CBT, and he'd gone
Mm.
off and done this somatic experiencing training and said it was mind blowing. And then I'm like, I have to do it. It's just like, I have to do that. It just
Yeah.
felt so right. There's my body,
Yeah.
giving me the signals that this is so right. And yeah, and never looked back.
Mm.
And even when I'm not directly doing that work,
Yeah.
somatic experiencing, it informs the whole picture and it brings the body's wisdom in. And it's, yeah, it feels so different as a therapist to be using, not just having to work everything out, but you're
Hmm.
trusting this wisdom of the body
Hmm.
as an incredible guide. So, yeah,
Oh,
how about,
that's such a beautiful explanation. I love that
oh,
you call it the body's wisdom, because that's what it is, right? You do feel, I often say in my sessions with my clients that I'm never not surprised. Like you come from this, yeah, you come from the CBT world, and I think that as therapists, from a CBT, from psychologists, from the CBT or behavioral cognitive type approach, you can get caught in the idea that A plus B equals C. And it means that we have, in some ways, um, maybe get caught in a trap at times of going, oh, yes, well, the reason that they do that is because of this. And when I'm saying to my clients, I'm never not surprised, it's because we often will, sit in the first couple of sessions and go, yeah, well, maybe this is happening because of this. And then when we actually go into doing somatic therapy, so I lean towards EMDR or emotional freedom technique, the tapping technique. And when we go into that, it's almost always guaranteed. It's quite a humbling experience. It's almost always guaranteed that the thing that you thought it was is not the thing that it is. And
100%.
and what emerges is often makes a lot of sense to the client.
So much sense.
Um, but it doesn't come from a place of cognition or understanding or like thought. It comes from the body and the body sensing something or the body's experience. So
Yeah.
it's
And
probably,
that unconscious as well, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the wisdom that you're referring to is the body knows, and we, of course, Gabor Mate's work of when the body says no, or Bessel van der Kolk and the body keeps the score. That work is becoming more known, right? Is that people are getting more aware and much more knowledge, and probably a lot more sensitivity too. Like
You know,
that it's all linked.
they probably, again, they hear it and it taps into their knowing, doesn't it?
Mm,
That actually makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, because so many clients probably even come in and, and they're like, oh, I rationally know this, but I
yeah,
can't shift this response. Yeah.
yes, yes, and that's exactly my story of where I got to with when I started down the somatic therapy path. And I probably didn't really know at the time that that's where I was headed. But I got to a point with clients, as you did, where, and this was back in, I trained in EMDR in 2011. So it's
That's a
like
long.
15 years. So I'd probably been a psych for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years at the time. And I had just had my second baby and I had time on my hands. And so maybe to have time on my hands, thought I had time on my hands. I did not have time on my hands. I did not say that. There was no time.
No time.
And maybe that's why I had no time on my hands. And so the thing that I got to was I need something that solves my clients' issues. And this
Yeah.
is not like the repetitive theme often is that they know that this is rational. I should be able to, this thing
Yeah.
keeps happening, and I know I shouldn't be afraid, or I know I should be able to do X, Y, Z, but I just can't. And so at the time, I think EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, just for the purposes of the video, is um, at the time was starting to become a little bit more talked about in psych circles in Australia. And I think it was fairly well, I assume it was fairly well established in the US, but it was starting to emerge a little bit more in Australia. And so I decided to sign up for the training. And so I
Yeah.
did the training and I had the same experience. I remember because, as you know, when you're doing the training, you also have to also have to be the client and you have to experience. It's very experiential training. And I remembered working on something. I can't even remember what I was working on, but what I do remember was going, whoa, I feel like in 15 minutes, I feel really different to what I did before. And of course, that fast response is not what everyone experiences every single time.
Yeah. And also, we only are allowed to work on not too high suds, like
That's right.
subjective units of distress. We have to work on something that's low, don't we, in our training?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we're coming to the training, we have to choose um, the tolerable window. Is that the right word?
Window of
Tolerable?
tolerance.
Is that a
Yeah.
is that a word? Tolerable.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Paula.
Yeah. We
Um,
don't bring up a big trauma and have the whole,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
take
So
up
the
the whole
window of
day.
tolerance. We have to have
Yes.
a window of tolerance where we can cope with the distress of thinking about it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, whatever it was that I worked on was very much within that window. And then yeah, I felt incredible afterwards. And then I was hooked. I was like, everyone's going to get this. Everyone's doing it. And um, I had some really awesome clients who came on board and were willing to try it, even though I was only newly trained in it. And they had some really good outcomes, which really does speak to like the protocols that you follow in the somatic therapies. But as you know, Paula, like it becomes a backbone. So when you understand what's going on in the
Yeah.
body and why the body is influencing the brain so much,
Yeah.
it helps you in your therapy sessions to start to guide your clients towards a sense of safety, even
Mm,
if you aren't practicing that
yeah.
strictly. If
Yeah.
you're not practicing that therapy so strictly,
Yeah.
it absolutely has become, um, yeah, the backbone of how I operate as well.
Yeah, me too. I feel like you, like I was just, yeah, the EMDR training as well. And the EFT,
Mm,
first tapping training, like I actually, I often go along to learn about new modalities because clients are telling me about them. And I'm
yes.
like, I'm really curious. And tapping was one. And I went off to that first training and evidence-based EFT. I didn't know, like, I'm like, obviously I know that they're tapping on these certain points, know nothing about it, never had an experience of it. And I just remember in that, they said, let's give you a little experience, reach down and touch, stand up, reach down and touch your toes. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And then we did like a couple of rounds of tapping and then reach down and touch your toes again. And I could
Mhm.
go so much further. I'm like, that is completely weird.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I love them. It's very mysterious, some of these things. And I maybe like you with the EMDR, I often have clients like you do the rounds and then you stop and they
Mm,
take their breath and you say, what do you notice now?
mhm.
And so many of them will, at certain times will go, this is really weird,
Yeah.
but it's because it's tapping into that unconscious. And even if it's weird images or a bit like dreams can be,
Yeah. Often.
um, but it just feels so right.
And doesn't it, like as a therapist, when you're seeing that process for your client,
Mm,
um, I, I think that one of the things that I often feel is because I have faith and I have hope and I know that we're moving in a direction where I'm trusting that the client's going to process something.
totally.
Um, I I think that it grounds us as therapists even
I
further
think
as well because we don't well, I'm sure, I'm sure sometimes we're only human, so there's inevitably moments where kind of get a bit lost or a bit stuck or whatever. But I feel like using the therapy itself, and I'm sure like, the eye movement or the tapping, even just the process of just being able to do that for someone and guide them through it there, I'm sure there's something grounding
for
about
us.
that as well for the therapist. But I have just noticed that there's a sense of, um, and gosh, I hope this continues, but I feel fairly confident in the success of the therapy that I feel really hopeful for all of my clients that come through the door that we're working towards something that they will then feel better about, which is
Yeah.
a really nice experience. And
So
yeah, I feel so
yeah,
privileged to do, again, you and I have talked about this before, but it's such a privileged position to be in when someone trusts you to talk to about things that they often haven't ever shared with anyone
ever
else.
shared. Yeah, because
Yeah,
they're
it's an
really
honor.
being so vulnerable and
Mm,
yeah, it's an honor, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, and then
100%.
when you see shifts, and they're meeting places in themselves, things that they've never been able to meet before.
Mm,
It's so beautiful.
mm. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. It's so beautiful.
And
Yeah.
I love what you
Um,
said about trusting, like,
mm,
yeah, uh, like I mean different nervous systems that people have based on their trauma, like we do need to sort of show up in different ways, but then
yeah.
yeah, the more people even come into that trust of the body themselves, then they are more able to meet it, and we both kind of just sit back and let the wisdom of the body take over more and more without having to sort of like hold the space so much.
There's a repair that might be happening in the body at that time. Like, you're witnessing that they come back to being able to
Yeah,
trust their body.
yeah,
Um, that's part of the repair, right? Is
it
that
is.
they go, okay, yeah, I'm safe enough.
Yeah,
I'm safe enough to trust that this is going in a direction where I know I'm going to feel maybe not better immediately, but maybe I'm moving into a space where I have faith that this is starting to resolve.
yeah, and even I think they often have that sense of like, oh, I'm meeting layers of this, that
Layers,
I've never
yeah.
been able to meet before, and
Yeah.
even that just building their capacity, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Resilience. The resilience is
It's
building.
in the window. Yeah.
Mm. We've talked about somatic therapy and we've talked about processing trauma.
Mm.
So it's probably helpful for us to just pause for a sec and jump into explaining that those bits a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I guess we can just answer the question of maybe what is somatic therapy?
Yeah. Well, soma is the body, isn't it?
That's right.
That's my sense. It's really bringing the body in and what's the experience going on in the body, not just dealing with the thoughts
Yeah,
and the behaviors. And probably like um as you discover, as things process through the body and that, different things get met and the energy moves through, the thoughts often then just naturally change
yeah,
the beliefs. Yeah.
yeah.
Do you want to share a bit more about that?
Um, what I love is this idea, and it's really, I guess, um, maybe quite just the biological beginnings of our being, which is, when we're in utero and when the cells are starting to separate and develop into an embryo, um, the core beginnings are the nervous system and the
Totally.
gut.
Yes.
And so, it's the combination of those two things is really intriguing about the
Yeah.
importance of like coming back to how important it is to maybe just acknowledge that we're not ever going to just be working on the brain, even if we're just doing talk therapy. There
Yeah.
is, this other really important part, which is your gut and your body,
Absolutely.
this thing.
Yeah. I love that you've said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I think if we just, to answer the question of what is somatic therapy, I think it's kind of nice to even just acknowledging the connection that the soma is the body. Somatic therapy is how do we connect the body to what's going on in the brain and the feelings that you have.
Yeah.
And of course, somatic sensations are how we feel about something shows up in a bodily experience.
Yes.
So when we think about something, think about my nieces and nephews being born, and I feel really warm, um, and my own children too, but my nieces and nephews are a little bit more recent. um, and so that is also a somatic experience, right? Is the happiness, but you think about something awful that's happened, and you have like a physical somatic. Your body is holding the meaning of that in your body as well.
Yeah.
When something happens to us, no matter how long ago, that's what we know about the limbic system, where our emotions are processed and potentially stored, is that it links to our body, and our limbic system doesn't have a date stamp. So if something happened a really long time ago, it doesn't feel like, sometimes it doesn't feel like it was a really long time ago. It feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And
And for
that
some
is,
trauma, even in the hip, it feels like now, doesn't it?
yes, when we're do any kind of therapy, the aim of it is to tap into the memory network, or how a memory is stored in your brain.
Mhm.
And when we open that memory capsule, I guess,
Yeah.
call it that. What do
Yeah.
you call it? Do you call it a memory capsule? How do you explain it to your client?
I even just say just the
Yeah, yeah.
memory capsule, but yeah,
Mm.
because there's so much associated with that memory.
I often use this
That-
metaphor of like, if you imagine that your brain is a pantry and you open your pantry and there's different shelves and your memories are stored on the shelves. If you've got a cookie box and it's got all the cookies in it, if you imagine that that cookie box is one memory, you're going to pull it out and you're going to look in the cookie box and there's going to be all these different cookies. And if you take out a cookie, then that cookie is like one aspect of the
Yeah.
memory. And
Yes.
so the memory of, let's say something positive like my wedding, the, the, the cookie box of my wedding is going to have all of these different aspects, like, oh, the moment, when I was walking down the aisle, or the dress, that choosing the dress, or, so there's all of these related memories, or all of these different aspects that then perhaps can be broken down even further and have
Yes.
links to other memories that are stored in the pantry.
Yes.
And so I like using that metaphor because what it means is when we start to work on different aspects, which it can be important when working with, particularly with trauma,
Yeah.
is that sometimes just looking at one cookie at a time or one aspect at a time is much more effective or
Yeah.
helpful for the client, because we can just break down and just you're not going to eat a whole box of cookies in, well, sometimes. um, you're not going to like swallow the cookie box whole. You're going to choose one cookie at a time and eat the cookie, and you're going to
Yeah.
swallow the cookie, and it's going to be metabolized. And that is what we're doing when we're doing somatic therapy, is we're bringing up the feeling that you have and we're metabolizing it so that it can be processed and it can go through its final cycle that you were talking about so
Love that.
beautifully at the beginning.
I love that. And sometimes just each cookie even has, sometimes we even have to maybe process the different ingredients, like
Yes,
the smell of
beautifully
that,
said.
or the sound, or the, because there's
Yeah,
different parts of that. So sometimes
100%.
we even need to get to that, don't we?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's, yeah, just doing that really allows some space to be held for a client who's really experiencing overwhelm and distress. You just go into the really gentle parts of what is within their window of tolerance to work on.
Yeah. I love your cookie metaphor in the pantry.
I love it too.
So good.
I do love a metaphor.
Yes, you're good with those.
Yeah. Thanks, Paula. Is there anything else you can think of in terms of what?
Well, just how
Um,
much actually doing the trainings
mm,
and then doing personal work as required by some of the trainings
mm,
has brought me personally. So then I feel different
yeah.
when I'm sitting with someone. Like I definitely can, I sit back in myself more, probably my own pattern
Mm,
of, but now I have much more of a sense of trust and sitting back. And yeah, there's
yeah.
times. And I also just trust that my sense of being able to like hold the person more if they
Yeah.
become dysregulated. And yeah, that's all about our somatic experience as well as therapists in that space. Yeah, because so much is happening with AI, but
Oh, yeah.
we are, we have a heart field, and there's so much that AI can't do that we bring, that's actually holding that space for people. And yeah, I think that's so valuable too, that people feel held, they can feel us, being really present with them and holding that space so that they feel more trust to go where
Mm.
can be really scary.
It can be
Yeah.
really scary. That's so true. I
Yeah.
love that you've just brought up the heart space. Do you want to talk about the heart space?
Go. Have you got some thoughts?
Oh, no, I just love it. I just
I
love the
just love
whole
it too.
idea. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and again, like if people are coming and they've got complex trauma, often they've not had someone to sit with them and hold
Mm,
this space. And I just feel like it literally holds something in the field, and it holds their system so that they can experience maybe what they couldn't experience when they were
yes.
little, or
Yes.
it's very powerful. And
Yeah.
yeah, an AI can't sort of bring something like that.
No.
Um,
There's
yes,
also the research into the heart space too, right? And
yes.
I'm no expert on this. Was it Gary Craig? I don't know that it was Gary Craig. Gary Craig talks about it,
I'm not sure.
but
The Institute of Heart Math, they've got so much
oh, I
research.
love that yeah, right. Okay. I
Yes,
thought you'd know. But I love that if you were actually to look at an image of it, it's like this, it reminds me of is it a spirograph? Like how the circle comes out and then back to your heart, and then it goes out and it goes all the way around. And so there's this theory
Taurus,
around
is it the Taurus field.
Taurus. That's what it is.
Yes,
Taurus? Yes.
yes. I think it's
Um,
that. something like that.
I think it is too, but it's this idea that there's an electrical current that runs from your heart and it shoots out and around you and all the way behind and in front. And so
The
that might be a
electromagnetic.
little bit, it might be a little woo-woo, but I just love it. I love it so much. And
I
so
think
when
we'll just
some,
be measuring that more and more in the
yeah,
future.
absolutely, I can't wait to see where things go in that direction. Um, but I agree. But I think even not even in like not of course people are going to experience that in person, that energy. But perhaps even I would hope even over Zoom and telehealth that there's some experience of that being able to be communicated and shared.
I agree.
Mm.
I can feel it from you.
Oh, I can feel it from you too.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. That ends today's session. I hope you enjoyed it. There will be more to come.